Hey guys, I just left the gym and oh my gosh, I'm gonna be so sore tomorrow. But I was thinking while I was working out, what should I do for Weapons Wednesday this week? Then I remembered a while back I did a video where I taught you how to make a really nice metal escrima stick. So then I started thinking, you know what? I'm gonna teach these guys how to make a really great metal bow staff using only materials they'd find at their local hardware store. But before I begin, if you could just like this video and subscribe to our channel, that would be awesome. Okay, so I just arrived at the hardware store, and last time I was here I was able to find the perfect stainless steel closet rod that just made the most beautiful escrima sticks. So I'm hoping that I can find something similar today for our bow staff. But let's go inside and just see what they've got. So sadly, I haven't been able to find any stainless steel closet rods this time, but I did find this really nice aluminum tube. And what's great about it is it comes in a chrome finish, and also there's all sorts of diameters. So I'm gonna go with a 1 1/4 inch diameter, but they do have like 1 inch diameter and 3/4 inch diameter. So whatever you prefer is what you can go with. But now all we have to figure out is how to cap the ends of it. So I'm gonna find some caps for this really quick. All right, so as you can see, I was able to find some furniture caps that'll work great for plugging the end of this tube. The only other thing we're gonna need is a really inexpensive pipe cutter that'll work for cutting this tube down to the size we want and for adding grip lines to it so that it'll have a nice texture when we're using our bow staff. But let's head back to the office and actually start to make this thing. All right, so I just got back from the hardware store and this is what I ended up buying. What this is an aluminum tube that's been chrome plated, and I think it's gonna make a really nice looking bow staff. Now I'm not gonna lie, I kind of was hoping that we'd find one of those stainless steel curtain rods because, here, I'm just gonna show you really quick. So this is the escrima stick we made in that previous video, and if you ask me, I think it looks just stunning. And it's a really nice weight, it's very strong. I think we did a strength test at the end of the video, and it definitely did a great job with that. But if you haven't seen that video, go back and watch it. It's a really fun video to watch, and you can learn how to make this, so it's pretty cool. But the nice thing about this aluminum is I was able to get it in an 1 1/4 inch diameter, which is kind of my ideal diameter for a bow staff. So I think this is going to turn out really nicely. So all we have now is we have this tube, and I bought 2 furniture caps, which are also an 1 1/4 inch diameter. And then we've got some 2-part epoxy here, and we've got a pipe cutter, a tape measure, and then just a standard marker. So the first thing we need to do is figure out how tall we want this bow staff to be, which is a really good question. We get called, I'd say, at least once a week from someone who asks, what size bow staff should I purchase? And the problem is there's no real definitive answer to that. The answer is that you have to ask your instructor because your instructor is going to know what size you need. Different martial arts will use different size bow staves. In the past, I've used 4-foot staves and I've used 7-foot staves. It just all depends on the martial art that you're training in, and then your instructor also may have a say in that. But one of the things I like about making my own bow staff is I can choose whatever size I want. And typically, being 6'4", I'll choose a size that's like 6 foot. But I think what I'm going to do today is I'm actually going to make a 6'4" bow staff, because I think that'll be perfect for me. So the first thing we're going to do is cut this down to the correct length. And 6'4" is what, 76 inches? So let's go ahead and take the measuring tape and just measure out 76 inches. Actually, this side's a little gunky, so I think I'm gonna use this side over here. 76 inches. There we go. Okay, so that's the first thing we're going to do, because I just want to get this down to the correct length first. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this pipe cutter, and if you've never used one of these before, they're actually really simple. All they do is you kind of put them on the spot that you want to cut. And I'll just loosen this up really quick so it fits nicely. Okay, cool. So I've got it on the spot that I want, and I'm just going to tighten that up so the blade just kind of goes exactly on the 76-inch point. So you can kind of see, I don't know if you can show on the camera. We can see right there, 76 inches. And so what you do is you kind of tighten it a little bit, then you spin it, then you tighten it a little bit more, spin it a little bit more, tighten it a little more, spin it a little bit more. And every time you spin it, it's just digging in a little bit more to the metal. So very quickly, it's just going to cut right through. Okay, and see, now we've got 76 inches. It's almost exactly my height, which I think is going to be perfect. So that's pretty sweet. So I'm just going to move this guy over here. And then what we're going to do is we're going to figure out the center point. And the center point of 76 inches is 38 inches. So I'm going to go ahead and take the tape measure and measure down to 38 inches. Should be right in the center. And the reason we're doing this is so that we can make some really cool grip lines. Here, I'm just going to show you really quick. So if you buy a bow staff from Karate Mart, this is the type of bow staff you're going to get. This is an aluminum bow staff from Karate Mart, and this is actually one of our anodized ones, and I chose an anodized version so that you could really see the grip lines in it. But what we do is we kind of take the center point of the bow staff, and then we go out 3 inches to where the grip lines start, and we use this diamond grip, which is pretty sweet. And then the grip area is about 10 inches, which is just about perfect for, you know, your grip area. And obviously it depends on your size, but really that's just about perfect. So what we're going to do on this is we're going to go out about 3 inches from the center point. And we're just going to mark that right there. And then 3 inches on the other side. Okay. And then what we want to do is I want grip lines to go roughly 10 inches out. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a grip line about every 1/2 inch on this pipe. Now this table's not the greatest for this. It's not working out very nicely. Okay, so we made the grip area 10 inches. And now all we're going to do is we're going to take this pipe cutter and we're going to go on each area, on each little mark, and we're going to run it around a couple of times so it just creates a grip. So I'm tightening it up. I'm going to go around, tighten it in one more time. Okay, I think I'll go a little bit more. Okay, and then I'm going to drop it down and go to the next line. Okay, so now we have to do the other grip for the other hand. You start with the first line. We do the exact same thing. Okay, the grips are done. All right, so now is where it gets a little bit fun. Now you get to decide, do I want to add any more grips to this? And one of the things about bow staves is in a number of the different martial arts, there's different techniques that are used where you grab the end of the bow staff. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to add some grips up here. I think maybe like 3 inches worth. So we'll take the tape measure again and just add 3 inches up here. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put a mark every 1/2 inch like that. I think I'm just going to do a grip there, grip there, grip there. Actually, I'm going to do one here too. And I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. Cool. All right, so we do the same thing with those as we did with these grip lines. Start with the first one. Okay, we just have to do the other end. So it's kind of time consuming, but I don't know, I think it's going to make a really cool bow staff. The only problem with it is we are using aluminum here, and unlike the stainless steel, it's not going to really be as strong and able to be as durable with hitting things. So this is going to be more of a bow staff that you'd use for practice, for kata, stuff like that. But I'm sure if you drove around to some different hardware stores, you could probably find a really cool metal tube that'd be durable. So you're just going to want to look at different wall thicknesses, like this one right here. It's a very thin wall thickness. I'm going to guess that's a 1/16 inch, which means that will dent if you hit it too hard, especially being aluminum. All right, so this is actually looking pretty good. If we look, we've got these grips here, and they actually feel really nice. And then we've got grips on the end. I think I'm going to grab some 409 cleaner and just clean this up a little bit. Yeah, so that just took off the marker on there. Kind of shines it up a little bit. It's looking pretty good and it feels good. So now we've just got this, big gap on the ends where we need to add these little caps in there. And furniture caps are nice because they just kind of snap in there. But I'm always concerned with a bow staff that if you strike it hard enough, it's just going to flop out. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to add some 2-part epoxy to this so that it actually sticks in there and it stays in there and it's not going to come out. So let's go mix up some 2-part epoxy. Actually, one thing I want to mention before we do that is that when we add these furniture caps to the end, it's going to look good, but it's not going to look great. Let's take a look at the escrima really quick. So on the escrima I made, you can see that there's a little lip on the ends of these furniture caps, which in my opinion looks pretty good, but it's just a little unfinished. So I just want to mention, when you buy one of our metal bow staves or our metal escrima, we do it a little bit different. The company that manufactures them for us is called Combative, and they make these in the United States. And the way they do it is, if we look at this item, this is a aluminum bow staff, and this is actually hollow too, but they use these really nice metal plugs at the end, and it's machined just perfectly, so you can't even tell that there's any sort of plug in there. It actually looks like this is a solid staff, but it's not. So that's the difference between making one yourself and actually buying one from us. But I also want to show you the company Combative that makes these for us just started manufacturing all of these weapons in different metals. So this one is actually a titanium, which is very rare to find martial arts weapons made in titanium. So in my opinion, this is pretty sweet. And here is a titanium escrima stick that they make as well. We don't sell them on KarateMart.com. This is only on Combative.com. But I told them that I'd show it off for them because it is so cool. What's wonderful about titanium is it is so strong and so durable, and it's so light. So it's just the perfect weapon for martial arts supplies. But it is a little more expensive. So that's something you got to keep in mind if you're going to buy a titanium bow staff. But let's get back to our bow staff. And the next thing we have to do is put some two-part epoxy together. And the way this stuff works is it's just a 1-to-1 ratio. So we just add the same amount of this part as we do the other part. So this is a resin and this is a hardener. And we just mix them together. And then after they're mixed, we've got a couple of minutes to get them onto the caps before it gets too hard and too difficult to use. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take this guy. I'm going to take a little bit of that epoxy, just kind of put it on the end. Okay. Okay, so look at that. It's on there. Let's do the same thing with the other side. Okay. Good. All right, so as you can see, it actually looks pretty awesome now. So I'm digging this. I guess the thing I like the most about this staff is it is my height. I love that. All my other staffs are 6 foot. So this thing is just perfect for me. And that's what's so wonderful about being able to make this for yourself, is you can make it to the exact height that you want. But I love this thing. The weight is great. It feels pretty strong. I think this is going to be a really nice new martial arts tool for me. So as long as I take this in back and I wipe it down with some different cleaners, maybe some acetone, I think it's going to look really awesome. But if you have any questions on this or any of the other products we carry on KarateMart.com, definitely leave them in the comments below. Make sure you like this video and subscribe to our channel. But until next week, we'll see you Weapons Wednesday.